Hey guys, it's Tony with Backwoods Biker Magazine and Wood Tramp Outdoors. I'm out here in the beautiful Mackinac River Valley, and I thought I'd go ahead and do a video for you on a topic that you've been asking me about for years. What's the #1 survival skill that you should learn? Hang tight, be right back. All right guys, welcome back for part 3 on this series on the #1 survival skill. As I said in the beginning of this series, that many people have asked me that question over the years, and I avoided getting on camera or putting it in writing because there are so many people that are a lot smarter than me, have much better experience than me, that I felt were more qualified to answer that. But you know, I went ahead and did a little project myself and got together with some of the most respected survival experts in the world, and I asked them their opinion, and you heard 4 of them already. You know, Les Stroud, Kevin Johnson, Dan Woolweck, and Larry Roberts. And now we're to the 3rd session here, and we've got 2 more. One of them is mine, and mine will be the last. But the first one that I'm going to talk about today is Craig Caudill. Craig is the founder, director, head instructor at Nature Reliance School down in Kentucky. I've met Craig probably 5 or 6 years ago. I was with him for 3 days last year, and picked his brain, talked to him. You know, I mean, he's a very cerebral type of guy. He's one of the best trackers in the entire world. He's well respected. You know, I've been out of the state before, and I've had people ask me, have you ever met Craig Caudill? He teaches many of our government agencies. I don't know all of them, and he may not want me to mention all of them, but I'll just tell you that they are some of the most highly rated and high level law enforcement agencies that is in our country. He's not only well known for his tracking abilities, but I mean, the guy has got so many skills, but especially primitive survival skills. And because of that, you know, well, first of all, he's an author too. He's written several books. I can't even tell you how many. I know I've got 3 or 4 of them. He puts a book out, it's going into my library, and I just don't stick it up there. It's full of sticky notes, and I've written in it, highlighted, did all kinds of things right off in the margins. I have to do that in order to be able to remember stuff. But I was with him last September, and I asked him the same question I asked everybody else. What's the #1 survival skill? And he thought about it for a few minutes, and he said, you know, he said, I'm going to tell you this. He says, I believe that thermal regulation is the most important survival skill. Okay, makes a lot of sense. Now, whereas the first 2 guys said fire, and one of them referred to being able to be warm in the cold winter months, you know, what Craig has done, and remember, he is a professional instructor, professional teacher. He takes it to a different approach, and I've heard the same thing in military settings, where guys that have professional training through the U.S. military, whether an operator or whatever, I've heard him kind of say the same thing, referring to thermal regulations, because that also points not only to being cold and needing to get warm, but it's also being in an extreme heat situation to where you have to be able to lower your temperature. You know, there's not enough said about that. And I would hope that Craig could, you know, do a video. I know he writes a lot of articles for different magazines around the country, around the world, as a matter of fact. And I would like to see him do a full-length video on thermal regulation, because a lot of emphasis is placed on fire, okay? But when you get out into the heat situation, not enough people understand what it takes to regulate their temperature and why it's so important, and to start recognizing when you are heading towards a critical situation. Most people that are getting heat exhaustion don't recognize it, and they just keep going and going. And then when it enters into the deadly heat stroke stage, it's kind of too late after that. So yeah, Craig, I think that you're absolutely right, that it is a great take on the number one survival skill. And again, I'm not saying one of them is more correct than the other ones. I wanted to ask these guys their opinion. I'm hoping that you, as the viewer and as the reader, are going to be able to take all of these and add them to your arsenal. So if you're in a situation that you'll be better prepared to do that. So again, Nature Reliance School down there in Kentucky, you want to check out Craig. He's got some great online courses that are very, very good. He's easy to follow, very personal guy. Man, he's one of the most humble guys that I've ever met in this survival community. So the question was given to me many times, what do I think is the number one survival skill? And years ago, I embraced the same philosophy that Les Stroud did. That fire anywhere at any time, with any person, any material, weather conditions. That was me. But over the years, I realized there's something that is just as critical to know, and I think this is number one. And when I'm teaching people on my approach to survival, real true survival, is that you need to be able to learn to control your panic, to quiet down the moment, in order for you to be able to mentally grasp the answers that you need at that moment. This morning I was talking to someone about this very thing. You can say, hey, I can put a tourniquet on and I can save myself or save somebody else. Well, if you've never done that and you cut a femoral artery and blood begins to shoot 6 feet out from you that you've never seen before, you've only got 180 seconds to stop that and control that. Now that's a true panic situation, especially if you're out by yourself. So here's my approach to this thing of controlling panic. There's only one way to do that. The counter to panic is confidence. Confidence, approaching a situation in confidence, only comes through teaching, training, rehearsing, and practicing. 4 different things that will get you to that. And what I mean by that, let's take the tourniquet thing again. It's one thing to watch it on YouTube video, but I mean, you need to have somebody that's a professional teach you how to use a tourniquet on all the extremities and where to put the tourniquet, where to apply it. There's different kinds of tourniquets, not just a Cat9, but there's different kinds of tourniquets. And the more information you get on that tourniquet, and the more training that you have, and the more practice that you have, more rehearsal that you have, the more confident that you're going to be. So when the situation comes up, somebody slices that artery, instead of panicking, standing there and going, oh no, what must I do? You go right to your kit, you pull it out of your pocket, you put the tourniquet on, you saved yourself or you saved that person. And it's not just about tourniquets. I'm talking about every area of survivability. Every skill set should be that way, that you have learned from experts, that you have been trained by experts, you've rehearsed with experts, and you've practiced it over and over and over and over again. In part 1 of this series, I talked to you about Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson happens to be one of those guys that if you said, hey, pick the number 1 guy to do a bow drill, Kevin Johnson would be it, because that guy has done that thousands and thousands of times, and he'll be the first to tell you that he has failed thousands of times trying to get a bow drill fire going, but he's so confident that he can do it. I mean, it's like a blindfold thing to him, and he teaches people very successfully on how to do it correctly. So, you know, those are the type of things that you need to practice over and over again. There's only one thing that's going to help you subdue your panic, you know, and that is that you have confidence in the skill set that you possess. And the only way that you become confident is through training, through redundant rehearsals, practices, getting out and putting your hands in the dirt and getting it done. So that's my opinion. That's all it is that above and beyond all other things, I try to teach people, learn not to panic, and that comes from becoming a true expert in every avenue and field of the survival community. So thanks for the question. You know, sorry it took so long for me to get to you about it, but you can see why. Like I said, everybody's got their opinion, and that's all these are. They're just opinions, and you'll have to work it out for yourself. So thank you very much for being patient. Thanks for all the emails that you send me and the crew, and for watching and for reading. So until next time, you guys ride free, you live free, get out there and learn until you're confident.